Hello.
Hi, everybody.
I don't know how many of you are here because it's still too early. Debbie from Three Shifting Veils is here. I got your question.
Yay.
We'll talk about it. Um, and why are we meeting like this? Because as I told Teri, do we have a show tomorrow? Because it wasn't on my calendar. We meet on Mondays sometimes. And she said no, and I said, well, I'll send you the invite if you want to come. So that's how we all got called here today. And I realize it's a weird week because everybody's trying to get ready for the turkeys and they've got family in town. And as soon as I'm off this show, I'm running off to go see my grandchildren. They're here up here in Dallas. So hoping everybody's enjoying the family that they have. And you undoubtedly know Teri from Holding Your Space. And Teri and I kind of decided we're going to talk about mindfulness, and Teri's going to read a part to that. But I was just telling Teri, I think we're in the season of the disease of disappointment, and it's made us all very uncomfortable. And how do we get back to a comfortable space? Um, the other thing I heard about that I read an article about in the last couple of days is called post-traumatic healing.
Oh,
We have the syndrome. Hi, Christine. We have this syndrome, but it's it's that we go through this and we let dig all this sludge up. And how do you live with your life after you understand that part? So I didn't have time to do a show on that, and I didn't have time to talk to Teri about it. So we're going to work on that. But this whole month is going to be a month of each day taking another step and each day getting further into uh, uh, the post traumatic healing and figuring out how to where we fit, and how it's going to work. And when I was thinking about when I read about that, I remember the day I found out that genetically my father wasn't my father. And unless you've been through that, and I haven't been through other people's trauma, but it's very, very, very difficult to understand how that shakes you to your core, because everything you've been told for the first 26 years of my life was now not true. Well, what other lies did they tell? I mean, it's real easy to fall off a steep cliff of really being resentful. And I went home and I told my husband, look, at this is what's come up. And he was, oh, get over it. You get over it. I'm going to get over it. And I talked to a woman friend of mine, and she said, well, I never liked my dad, so that for me would be a blessing. And I'm like, no, that means that half of all the genetics you've tied to, all the family myths you've lived through, she was my worst grandmother. His mother was my worst grandmother. I had to put up with all that, and it wasn't even the right people.
yeah.
So, and it took me a while. And my doctor, weirdly enough, my father, who's also a doctor, had saved this guy's life when he was a teenager. He was in a car accident. I know. So he sat me down when we found out, and he said, there's several ways you can play this. You can go home and scream at him and yell and, you know, shred your shirt and do sackcloth and ashes, do the whole Job thing. And he said, or you can take some time to think about it, because you're about to bring another person into your family. And do you want that energy around this child? So somehow or another, between his wise words and a couple women friends I had, who were all my friends were older than me. All my friends had kids that were teenagers when I was 7th. And they all said, look, all kinds of things are going to come up. And you need to give yourself time. And that's where I think we are now in our disease of disappointment. We need to give ourselves time. So Teri is going to discuss a technique for buying yourself some time.
Yeah. Do you want, I love the quote um, above that. Do you want me to read that? Because I
Yeah.
thought it was
Hmm.
beautiful. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, this is a daily affirmation. Well, the quote is feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. And that's, I can never pronounce his name properly, Tat Nhat Hanh.
Yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah.
And there's a daily affirmation with that too that I want to read because I love that. I embrace the present moment with calm and clarity, knowing that each breath anchors me to the here and now. My mind is a safe and peaceful space, free to observe without judgment or distraction. I let go of worry about the past and release any fear of the future, focusing instead on the beauty of this moment. Each step I take is mindful and intentional, bringing balance and joy to my life. I trust myself to navigate the challenges with grace and patience, allowing awareness to guide me. My thoughts are gentle, my actions are deliberate, and I am deeply in tune with the rhythm of life around me. So I I totally love that because it's witnessing awareness, and it's kind of what I think all of us have been talking about for years, right? Um, Being in that witnessing awareness where you're not tied to the outcome and unconditional love for
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's some mindfulness practices that I love that they wrote on.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is to observe, like look around you, what's going on. Maybe you can look and see things in your room.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. The second was to feel, and we don't want to bypass any emotions. So feel your emotions, but
Mm-hmm.
when you feel them without getting out of control. Follow the inhale and exhale patterns of your breath. Oh, that was breathe. Sorry. So focus on the inhale and exhale patterns of your breath. And breath work is like an ancient Vedic thing, too, that
Mm-hmm.
they've talked about for thousands and thousands of years. But also, that's what you do when you go into the hospital with an anxiety attack. They use the same breathing techniques that
Yeah.
Vedas have used for thousands of years, the box breath and
Mm-hmm.
other types. And then accept where you are and trust the process. Stand in your power. I like that because, like, we can accept where we're at. We don't, and it's not talking about accepting the future. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point that out. Like, the outcome is not what we're looking at now. We're accepting where we're at right now.
And you're recognizing it's an evolution.
Yeah,
Where you are is not where you're going to be forever.
right. Energy is in constant motion. I mean, and there is no time or space. So so we really decide where we're going to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're not always aware of that, and it's real easy to not be aware of that when the TV and radio and your computer is telling you all sorts of things, giving you all sorts of information. Um, and then it talks about absorb. So slow down, absorb what you see, hear, taste in every activity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's again that witnessing awareness where you stop and use your senses. Like, what do you smell? What do you taste? What are you looking at? And then when you do that, um, it kind of brings you into your subtle senses. So and your subtle senses are like your clairs, your clairvoyance, your
Mm-hmm.
claircognizance, because you'll look at a flower and you'll know the life of that flower. You'll know the energy of that flower, the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So it's huge. Rishi is asking, are we doing readings today?
Yes, we are, but I'm giving people a chance to get in because if I start them too early, then people write, "Oh, I didn't catch the first 5 minutes of the show." Well,
Yeah.
fortunately, they repeat, so I don't have to. But when I read, and then I let that go, and so I can't go back and recreate it. So, Rishi, if you have a question that you want answered, write it in bold, write it in capitals, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, yeah. And Jolene says, aloha. Thank you, Nancy Jean. I have a strong feeling that my father is not truly my father.
Well,
Lots of love there.
that's what DNA. I mean, that happened to me when I was 26, before they were doing 23 and Me and stuff. And mine happens because I'm O positive blood and everybody else in my family is O negative. That's impossible.
Oh. Well, and I just want to point out too, another thing, Jolene, is that how many of us felt like we didn't belong in
Oh
this
yeah.
lifetime.
I could never figure out. I figured you know, they just hit the orphanage and found a stray one and brought her home. She looked right. She had a funny round Irish face, so that worked.
And they say when we come in, a lot of times that we'll come in, we'll look at the astrology.
Hmm.
And oftentimes we incarnate with our soul family, but a lot
Hmm.
of times we just, you know, if you've got a mission down here as a star being, then you'll just say, I like that astrology, I'll take that one. And bam.
Well, I've come to understand that my mission from the beginning was to come in as the outsider that knew and just know that that's one big chunk of my identity, and that the the worst of where my past lives went the most astray, shall we say, is where I was part of the clan and I had the clan strength behind me that I do better as an individualistic entity.
Yeah.
And that took, and guys, I was about 73 when I hit that point. So if you're not there yet, don't worry. I do want to point out one thing I want to pull up. Amy, I am so sorry. This Thanksgiving and Christmas is very difficult. I called 911 Friday for my mom. Now she's in the hospital and going to be transferred to a nursing home. I am so sorry for you.
Yeah.
As a person who's fallen down a couple times in the last couple weeks and not sure about getting up, you have all my sympathies. And actually, I worried about what I was going to do to my kids if if I had to go be somewhere else other than in front of this computer. I've since found out it was a psychic attack, which we will go into in another day. We'll work out a show about psychic attacks. But um, my husband fell down the stairs on the 19th of September in 2004, and he died on November 20th, 2004. And there was a whole progression of, first it was a stroke, then they found the cancer, and then he managed to mumble, "Get me the hell out of here." So that was my job to get him out. But your job may not be to get your mom out. Your mom may go on. I don't know what's wrong with her. I can't presume it, but she's in an evolutionary process, and her evolution, like my husband's molded me, her evolution will mold you, and we're all praying for you and sending you light to help you. And this is a great show for you right now, how to focus on exactly where I am in this moment without pulling my mind forward or going backwards.
Yeah, it really is because it's so easy when we're in that fight or flight to think about the fear of what might happen and instead to be present and stand in your power.
And they've got a place to put her, and she'll be safe and she'll be cared for.
Yeah.
And it's helpful. And this is Jen Bowles, visionary. Yeah.
Oh,
My heart goes out with you, asking Archangel Michael to protect you and your mom. May you have the most benevolent outcome. And I think we all feel that way.
yeah. Amy, I'm so proud of you. Amy's been doing a lot of changes in her life and
Good.
has moved recently, and I feel like you're going to be really happy with that now, Amy. Your move and that's better for you and your mom. So lots of love to you, honey.
Okay. We're going to go to the people. I'm going to get to you, Rishi, but I have, if you have not subscribed, yeah, you are. You're connected to me. Uh, if you saw the notice, it always says write your questions and comments, and then you're for sure going to get read. Okay. Um, Three Shifting Veils. I read that Leon, and I think she's a little
Oh,
dyslexic. That's Elon, is
yeah.
looking to buy YouTube. Do we need to start? No, someone else. Look at what a wonderful job he did with Twitter. I would not worry about it. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah,
you,
I
what do
would.
you feel that it's like they're going to buy MSNBC? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Actually, I expect Midas Touch will buy MSNBC before.
Wow. Interesting.
Those guys are making a fortune over there. They're
Really?
making more. Yeah, they're making more than you and I are, Teri, which would not be hard.
Well, that would not be hard. Yeah, that would not
Artistic
surprise
world.
me.
Will I publish my book in 2025? This I'm going to do as a reading with cards. If I can find my cards, what did I do?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking around for too. Oh, I think I.
Oh, I know where I'm going to use my pretty cards.
Okay. I am too.
Be real. Somebody said yesterday, those cards are so pretty.
Aww.
They're this artist. When you see this picture, you'll know. He does very Renaissance painting looking things.
Ooh, those are beautiful.
They're printed on a linen stock. They never fray. They have the silver edges hold forever. And the pictures are gorgeous. And this is a deck I bought for myself years ago. I saw it on a channel and I tracked it down. I looked at every image till I found the right deck. And he only publishes so many at a time. And then that one goes out and he publishes another one. They kind of look alike, but not really. And he also sends you extra. He believes that in each of the suits that there's also a palace. There's a palace of cups, a palace of coins, a palace of swords, and a palace of wands. I don't use them, but it's a lovely idea. And he sends you extra decks. You can use a typical Hierophant, or he has an old Buddhist monk that's
Ooh.
you can use for the Hierophant. So, and his three of swords, he has one three of swords that's really ugly, and then he has one that's kind of not as bad. There's 3 cards that he gives. This is his Hierophant. She's looking away. That's his Hierophant.
Oh, beautiful.
And this is the extra card. The other one is the 3 of swords.
Beautiful. Wow.
So, and I really love this deck, and I was using it yesterday with Scott because we got so in the weeds. Oh my God. There's just stuff going on. It's happening so fast, I can't even wrap my mind around some of it. And we're going to ask about Artistic Worlds book. Will it be published in 2025? Yes and no. You're going to have it all together. I don't know that it'll be on the bookshelves in 2025. From what I was hearing today about someone who got a book published, it takes 10 months from the time they have everything done, the cover art done, all of the ready to go. It takes 10 months for the publishers to get it from their publishing house onto the bookshelves. So maybe not, but what I see is, yeah, this is the Tower, and whatever you're writing about, it's going to change again. But this is the 8 of Swords reversed. It's going to free you. Whatever you write, you need to give it the time to happen to free you. And you need to not worry about the money so much. Queen of Coins were in there. Because your out cards for it being published are the High Priestess and the 3 of Cups. That means you're coming together with people to make it happen. You're going to go through so many revelations inside yourself while you're writing it. Give it the time it needs. That's what I got from that. But you will have it written in 2025.
Yeah. Might take a bit to get it on the shelves or on Amazon. Yeah. I kind of got the same, like take a breath, breathe. And that's just what we were talking about earlier. Look around you, everything that's around you, and kind of go within with that. Surround yourself with positive-minded people. So getting that group around you of help and editors and people that you can rely on. Somebody that's I think you're looking for somebody reliable. Like you're sending out. She's strumming her harp, so I feel like you're sending out the vibration, to attract that. And then you get man, once that all comes together for you, artistic world, it's like, go for it. You are standing in your light. I mean, I think once it all pulls together, it's going to be amazing. And I don't know why this card is here. Maybe you do it, but it's about facing your fears. So
That's the power.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do feel like this might have something to do with the book too, Artistic World, but the cold moon. So as above, so below.
Well, I think the cold moon also means the moon's emotions, but you need
Oh.
to be able to step back to describe what you want people to understand.
Witnessing awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hope
Yeah.
that helps.
She says self-publishing is a very respectable option more and more people are going with. Yeah, Janet, I like that. So I'm going to have somebody on pretty soon, Jamie. And Jamie has written, self-published 4 books, and now Netflix has picked it up with an offer to make a movie.
Wow, that's
So,
great.
yeah, yeah. So it happens, right? That can be very
Constance
successful.
Campbell,
Okay.
4610. I presume your name is Constant Campbell. I think the 4610 is something YouTube did to you. I really wish I could cry on schedule. It's such a great distressor. I can't cry. I have a very difficult time crying. So
I have a friend, and her therapist told her to take 15 to 25 minutes a day to scream or cry or worry or whatever she needs to do with that 15 minutes. And she said it's been a game changer. And I always had a room I could go to cry. And I found that once I had a safe space to do it, didn't need it so much.
Yeah, the other good one is if you have a tennis racket, you really don't care what happens to it. Beat a pillow with it. That works.
I love that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, and so this is Rishi's question.
Yay.
Does S have positive intentions towards me? He is working with me since a month. Okay, let's see if S is good for you. I think that's the base of the question.
Yeah, I think so too.
Tomorrow is my best friend's birthday. I've known her since I was 3, and she is turning 75 tomorrow.
Wow.
Against all odds, she was chemically poisoned when we were in our early 50s. She was an airline pilot. She was one of the first commercial women pilots, and she ended up in a coma for 6 months. And like I said, I've known her since I was 3, but nobody bothered to tell me that she was almost dead. But she's made it. And
good for her.
Last time I spoke with her, she was cooking chocolate pies. When we were kids, our specialty was chocolate chip cookies. And we used to make them into letters, and we used to write obscene words of chocolate chip cookies. Kind of friends you don't have to. Oh, dear. Oh. Okay. You know who this person is. You've been through it before. This is the 2 of Swords. That you are of 2 minds about them. This is death, which means actually transition. But he's not a move. He or she. S is not a move forward. S is a move into something you've had happen around you before. You so much want someone to come in and be the person you've been, the 9 of Cups, somebody you have a really good time with. I think you're putting someone else's face on S, because your out cards are, you're going to see it, you're going to know what to do, you're going to be in charge. The Fool is you in charge and choosing your own direction. And you're going to pick the correct path because it's justice. Now, is he good? Is S good? Is S bad? Do they have positive intentions? No, they just fit a type. And you've met S before. That's what I get in the cards.
Interesting.
And this may be your chance to get rid of trying to fix that part of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Rishi, I'm hearing just my guides are coming in and saying, watch the way they treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
like the waiter at the restaurant, or the server at the restaurant, or somebody in the street as you're walking by, do they step aside and or open a door for someone? Watch that. I get this is great. What are you thirsty for? Body care and take a breath. Okay, take a breath is about everything today, but
Mm-hmm.
that's that watching. So just keep an eye on it. Follow the stream. Watch the
Mm-hmm.
flow of the energy that they're carrying. Um, um, so dedication, trust, future of rivers and oceans. Like,
Mm-hmm.
watch if you see that if they take care of the other people this way, that sooner or later you're going to get taken care of that way too, which is always interesting. Slow it down,
Yeah.
keep an eye on things, take your time. And then I don't know how many times we're going to have take a breath today, but take a breath is what this is all about. So, and the moon's about change, right? So
Right.
moonstruck.
And we're coming up to a new moon.
Yeah. And
I would clearly wait till the 1st of December before making any grand decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other
Go ahead.
the other creepy thing I heard was one of my guides said to me, that old childhood poem, "Welcome to my home," said the spider to the fly. That's not a situation I walk into. But that maybe it'll be your time to go do that and find out that you misinterpreted who the spider was. I mean, we can't tell you what the reality is going to be. You do not know who this person is yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Just watch the flow of the water.
Right.
What they're doing. I do feel like you're going to figure it out pretty soon. It'll be illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
new moon's next Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, watch it.
May I have a reading from my guides?
Oh, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Okay, I pulled from my Crystal Medicine Oracle deck. It's a really good deck. I pulled Truth and Integrity. So whatever you're coping with right now, and if you have any turquoise jewelry, you might wear some of that during this time, because it's calling on you to have that.
Yeah.
And Truth and Integrity. You have been called to this card today to highlight the importance of truth and integrity in your life. It's essential that you deep down within your heart you find your truth at this time. Then hold strong, expressing your truth from a deep place of integrity. We often lack this is a kicker. This is a kicker. That is my daughter getting ice. She needs to have cold water. Don't be hard on her. We often lack confidence to lay down the healthy boundaries we need to live by trying to please others. So what I'm getting from this is, for some reason, you're not telling people, speaking from your own integrity about things. And each time we don't listen to this challenge, it gets bigger and more intense. It happens to us only when we express our truth. And it says, if you've been trying to please people in your life, now is not the time. That the more you do that, the more you disavow your own self. And then it gets harder to listen to your guides, because they may be screaming in your ear, but you're so buried on the wrong path you don't hear it. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, that turquoise makes a lot of sense to me, Jen, for you. It's such a healing stone and protective. And as sensitives and empaths, we have a tendency to kind of go with the flow maybe too much sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got be decisive, vote. So talk about standing in your power. So, show your strength. You're an amazing woman. Listen to your beautiful heart. So really follow the beat of your own drum. And what does it feel like to you? Like, we talk about that, and Jen's in the meditation tribe, and she's always there, but really listening to your heart, what is going to make you the most happy? Jen says, thank you so much. It is my time now, and others get frustrated with me because they say I am selfish because I don't see things the way they don't see things the way you do. Yeah. Yeah. So that's you being decisive and standing in your power and listening to your heart. Um, Sincere relationships. You couldn't make that come out faster. But yeah. Um, so you might be looking at these relationships a little differently now, Jen. And that happens with big transitions, doesn't it? That we kind of look at everything and we watch it and we see things. We see the way they treat servers. We see the way they treat ourselves in a different light. But
The other secret code for me is if people start saying, well, I don't know if you've noticed this about your friend, and it may be some you're really close to, and they're cutting them down, so they're tearing you away from them. You can't have a relationship without them being in it.
yeah, yeah. It's oh, she says things changed with when Mother Mary appeared. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. When you start trajecting your energy and it goes, your vibration gets higher, your friends get the air gets a little thinner. One of my teachers told me years ago. The air gets a little thinner, and there might be you might see other ways. Like you can love people where they're at, but it looks different. But your guardians, your guides are right with you, honey. And they're watching your ship come in. I feel like your ship is coming in, sweetie. So, what you're looking for, you're going to manifest. You know how to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is advice from someone who read your question. She feels like every one of your cells is being cleansed and renewed. She said it almost sounds like the popping sound of bubble wrap. What a cool thing.
Janet, I love bubble wrap. So I have a thing with bubble wrap. One of my cousins who's passed on, this guy, Joe, was like amazing. Like he fished in Alaska for 10 years. He did all sorts of things. He was always starting new businesses. He was like a great visionary. And he was going to do a bubble wrap business where he would send you a square of bubble wrap, and that was your emotional guardian, do your bubble wrap. I always thought that was the best idea whenever anybody talks about bubble wrap.
That is a great one. And then this is a lady who thinks she's not related to her siblings any other way. I look nothing like my siblings, even my half siblings. My father looked like my father. I don't look like the siblings. I'm the only one of the 7 that looks like my mom. When I was a small child, I would be walking, and I lived in a town of about 50, I think it was about 50 to 75,000 then. And people would stop me in the streets and say, you have to be Helen's daughter. You look just like her. I know. And I said, didn't that happen to you when you were little? And everybody looks at me like, are you nuts? So, yeah. Whether you are or you aren't, you're here because of the graces of the universe, and you have the genetics you have. And Amy's mother has dementia.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best things, I had a friend who took 7 years out of her life to take care of her dad. And she had her gratitude book, which she wrote in, her 3 things she was grateful for every day. And then she had the book that nobody else ever saw. It was her bitch book. It's what she'd write down when she just couldn't take it anymore.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, Amy, my niece works in a dementia care unit, and she loves it. I mean, she just loves it. She loves her people, and they're so well taken care of.
The universe does a pretty good job putting the right people in those jobs. That's why I have never had a job like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah. My stepmom had dementia, and she was able to be at the house, but we had 24-hour caregivers.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, and this Mimi said it's a good show for her because her husband has untreatable cancer and my grandson is moving across the country to Colorado. I don't know if that means your grandson's moving towards you or away from you, but that much movement in the family is tough.
yeah, that's a lot right now, Mimi. Lots of love to you and your husband and your family. It is a lot.
We've got a couple other people chiming in that they've had family members with dementia and they understand and they're sending you energetic hugs.
Yeah. And the thing about Amy, for me, the thing about that was because her daughters were out of town and I was there and taking she and my father to the doctors and all their visits and tried to be present with all of them. The thing about that is that to have been in a home, it would have been so much easier for them because it wouldn't have been, when you're with them, you're worried about what they're doing. When you're away from them, you're more worried about what they're doing. So I think in a home that they're really well cared for. Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, and we got another guide question.
Guide Princess Diana. Ooh, I love that.
I'm going to pull from the Healing Medicine Oracle cards.
Okay. The first thing I hear is that song, What Have You Done For Me Lately, Amy? So are you taking care of yourself? Is kind of what I'm getting in. Like, are you treating Amy properly and giving her what she needs?
There is that, taking care of everybody else so we can avoid the obvious, the person on the mirror.
Right. We're all good at
It's easy
that.
to get into when you're a reader. You start taking care of everybody else's lives and then you find out.
But it's intriguing, isn't it? It's very interesting. That's why we do it. But oh yeah, geez. So I get self-regulation, again, going into your senses, watching what you're doing your breath work, really watching where you're putting your energy. Is it in fear? Is it in what's happening right now? Or is it in the past? A lot of times when there's something like this that comes up with the family too, that old relationships of how people treated people when they were little kids, like nobody can get at you like a sibling or a cousin that knows you well. Drawing down the moon, so knowledge. Find out as much as you can about this home, but bet on you. You've got this. So stand in your power, Amy.
Yeah, I got the same thing. I got self-mastery.
Yeah.
And that's the Spider Woman that helped mankind and the Hopi legends come out of the cave and spun a web they could live on. You're your own master and always have been. And now it's the time to embrace it in its totality. Life is full of opportunities and lessons to guide us to the realization that everything we require lies within, and we are our own answers to the questions. When we take the time to honor and awaken the master within, only then does that aspect of ourselves have the opportunity to shine fully. To master something takes time, commitment, discipline, strength, and doing something. You have all those aspects available for you right now in abundance. So you're stuck with it, Amy. You're growing whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And this says, I have the resources I need to create the life I deserve. So stand in your power and manifest what you want.
Hey, we got a Carl. That's Heath's question. May I hear from my guides if I'll be successful this week in a deal I'm going to do today? Will this thing be over soon? Thank you. That's a heroic question. That's not an oracle card question.
Excuse me.
Yeah, poor Carl's been going through it for a while, trying to get things together.
Yeah, and Carl, I'm sorry. I think I missed your question the other day. We were doing a show, and I saw at the end that you said something. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you're going to achieve it, but not today, because the people that are approaching you don't have the resources they've led you to believe that they have. And it's good because you've been dealing with these guys for a while. You're going to get out of living with their delusions. That's a Five of Swords reversed. So you're not willing to win at any cost, and there's something wrong with the people you're dealing with. I mean, that's what I get.
Yeah, I get calling in protection.
Mm-hmm.
So you might need it. Change your tune. So the vibration of those that you're attracting around you and the vibrations that you're putting out. But I do get that it might take some time, extra time too. So have some patience. And that's a full cycle of the moon right there.
So it may take more than a month, but somehow these guys are not telling you everything that you need to know, and you're going to sense it, and you're going to protect yourself from getting stuck in something.
I get senses, right? When you said you're going to sense it, and I got sensitivity. So there might be some barriers still. And
it's going to come. I got your out cards were great.
Yeah.
The troopers you're working with right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jolynn. Aloha. Will the man that will love me for the rest of my life show up soon? Okay. You got it? It's a forever guy question.
Yeah. Okay. Jolynn, I'm just going to say what I heard Dr. Joey D say the other day. He was talking about that. They said, are you the person that you want to love for the rest of your life? Yeah.
And I'm not going to say soon. I'm going to say in the next 6 months, because soon, depending on how you view that word, could be anything. My analogy is, will I find the one? I used to get that a lot at the table. And I used to say, we're putting a time limit on this, because if I say yes and I see the perfect person for you and it doesn't happen for 39 years, you're really not going to like me for 38 years. So Jolynn, or soon. No, it shows that the quote Teri gave you is very accurate. You can't say, here I am, whoever you are. You have to be someone you would want to meet and love. And I don't know what that's about. I don't know if your life's too busy, it's just not the right time. I see you. You're in good shape. The only thing you're missing is this person. You think. And the one, you got a King of Coins and a Knight of Wands, both reversed. King of Coins is okay, but the Knight of Wands, when they show up as knights or pages, they're still moving on. So
yeah. So I got get clear. So get clear on who you are and who you want to be, and have that clarity of thought of like, are you in that space? Do you have room in your dresser? Do you have room in your closet? Do you have I think about this sometimes, and I think, okay, what changes would I make if I wanted to be in a relationship? Because I'm a widow, and I'm kind of like, who knows? But you've got so much strength, just like Nancy Jean said. You're where you want to be, girl. You're like that winged tiger.
I think you think it's a great idea, but I think once you're starting to accommodate someone else's schedule, they're not going to meet the woman they thought they met.
Yeah. Yeah. So be positive, have that joy in your heart and, that little kid energy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to let go of that. But be courageous. I think if that's what you
Go out
want.
and meet people.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not telling you not to meet people. We're not saying he's not there. We're just saying right now the way your world is constructed. And also, go listen to some of the scary astrologers and listen to where all the major planets are and think, do I really want to meet someone under these aspects?
There's a lot going on out there right now.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, Jen says, LOL. At 80, that would be lovely. And I have been single for a long time. Yeah. You, I think you're like really standing in your power, Jolene. It's going to take somebody pretty powerful to, take that in.
Yeah, I've always had the impression every question you've ever asked me, there's a really powerful person behind all that. And you just quite honestly right now, the energies are changing so fast. I don't know. My youngest got married on the 20th. Just went down to the hockey rink as you do, and had a friend that was a preacher that could marry them. They got married on the main concourse in their white hockey jersey.
I love it. I love it.
And the reason that Susan picked that day was because that's the anniversary of her father's death. And there's a couple of years where it slipped by and she didn't realize it. And it happened when she was 13, so she doesn't ever want to not realize it. So now she's made it her anniversary. So now all she has to do is hope she can remember her anniversary.
That's kind of beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a celebration.
Oh, someone actually left the table because of how he was treating the server. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was on a date with this guy. It was the first date, and we're driving through this area of town, and it's an outdoor shopping area. It's really lovely. And this guy was walking with his son, and his son was probably 10 years old, and they were trying to cross the street, and he just kept going, like didn't slow down for this person or anything. And it was a very pedestrian friendly area, and it didn't have stoplights and it didn't
Mm-hmm.
have stop signs. It was just, courtesy. And I thought, oh, you're done. And
Mm.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter Casey has worked in customer service forever. I mean, she's worked at Blockbuster Video and all those kinds of things and worked forever at that. And she she can be very pleasant to people and then she'll put the phone down and scream. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. My sister worked for the post office for a long time.
mhm.
And then she worked at the DMV. So she was, helping people get their license
God, what kind of past
card.
lives did she have?
And then she was so good at it. Like,
Mhm.
especially when she was with the post office, that people would give her a hard time. She goes, honey, you mess with me, it's a felony. And, you know,
Mhm.
so she really stands in her power. Patty does.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked as a census taker for two cycles, and that's a fun job because I, there's no way you could pay me to go out and do the census next time around. Because some of the anger and the uh, if a house is empty and people in theory live there, then you have to try to go to the neighbors and say, do you know what date they moved and stuff? Because if they moved before January 1st, then it was just an empty house. If they moved January 3rd, then the family was there and you can mark they're there but not traceable. And I was at this one house and it was the sweetest little old man and he had a empty house on either side of them. And I think when I finish this story, you'll understand why he had an empty house on each side of him. So anyway, he starts telling me, he said, oh yeah, they had kids, they were in school, and no, they didn't move. I remember it was like the middle of January. So I got the ages of their kids and stuff. So I got kind of a profile for what was in that neighborhood on that January. And then he was going into the second house next door. All of a sudden, screaming down the stairway comes this woman in a flapping house robe. It's obvious she'd hopped out of the tub or somewhere to come yell. And she says, "Don't you talk to those people. That's not our business. Slam the door," And after she left, I was sitting there, and he caught up with me 2 houses later. He went out for his daily walk, and he filled me in, and he said, "She's just a bit touchy," and I was a bit. And I think I know why the neighbors left.
Yeah.
I'll sell this house to get away from that.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's tough when you wake up in the morning and you don't see what you like around you.
Although I had some people that warned me in apartment complexes, that guy has a gun. Telling them that if they hurt you, it's against the law, isn't going to help you if they already have a gun. I mean, really, it was probably the most fascinating thing. And I'm looking for questions. We're not getting them, probably because I'm blowing my lips off. Oh, I got one more. There was an apartment complex that was full of Africans, and an older woman came up and no one would answer their doors. And an older woman came up to me when I was sitting on the bench in the middle of one of the courtyards trying to figure out how am I going to get past these doors. She came up and she said, "Why are you doing this?" So I explained to her how the census worked, and it meant you count for schools, it fixes the roads, it allows how many hospital beds need to be in the area. And she said, "Those are all very good things." And she said, "Come back tonight at 6 in the evening, and you might want to bring someone to work with you." So we had kind of overlapping territories. We could help each other out. So I had 2 other women come with me. The entire courtyard was full of people. And they came down, they told us their numbers and their kids. And when we explained what the census was about, and we had sheets to explain what the census was. And they said, "Thank you so much. That's when people show up and knock at your door and they're from the government in our countries. It's not a good thing." And it ends up, she and another woman, they were the 2 wise women that had come from their village. And we got over 100 doors done that night because they were being cooperative. So it's a fascinating job. It's just not one I wouldn't do it now because I couldn't get up the damn stairs. But
yeah. Tanita has a question at 11:49 my time.
Okay, I've got 11:34, and I'll go down and mark hers.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mark the one. I'll put it up so you can start answering the one I've marked.
Okay. Yeah, my mom was in the Holocaust, and when they came back, her family, or
they don't open the door to anybody.
Nope, and they don't tell anybody anything, and you never give your right social, even to your doctor, or your birth date. Like, my doctor does have my birth date, but yeah. Sue Toffee, hello, beautiful Sue. If you have time, what do you see for me coming up?
Okay. It's the next bright spot for Sue. And then when we do Tanita's, that's going to be the end of the questions because we have to wrap our lives up and I have to go see grandchildren at the Air and Space Museum.
Yeah.
I will not be going in the Air and Space Museum. Not that I don't like air or space, but it's a lot of walking.
It's a lot of walking. So that's funny. So I had picked some cards just when we were talking before we were talking even about the next question. But something about you're going through a metamorphosis. So watch for the signs. She totally is. It's like your time is coming. That new moon is coming. Follow the moon. Watch for the signs. And then the falling moon comes in. And that's the space between time. That's like, it's talking about releasing blocks, but also when they're showing me this, I'm looking at when we go into the gap in meditation and we look for the space between thoughts, the space between blocks, the space between
breaths. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't wait too long in the space between breaths, or
no, don't do that. Because then that's just what this card says too. You're at the wellspring. So you are filling it up right now.
Oh God.
You're getting yourself filled up. What are you thirsty for? Body care. Take a breath, which is beautiful for you right now, honey.
Yeah. You done?
Well, I looked at the bottom of the deck and it said, thank you. So that's you walking in your grace, honey.
Mm-hmm. You're the Queen of Swords. You've metamorphized into the Queen of Swords. And I'm the Queen of Swords. And my favorite line about the Queen of Swords is she goes around sticking her sword in everybody's bag of bullshit. So you've become your own master. Mm-hmm. You're the magician. And it's tower time for you, which towers can be good things or bad things. This one's a good thing for you, because the structure that you're letting go of is you're allowing yourself to accept the graciousness of people to tell you how good you are. This is the Eight of Wands. It's all coming towards you so quickly. And the reason it's such a good thing is because you're letting go of the anxiety. Can you believe that reading? That reading. I want that reading.
I want that reading too. That's beautiful, Jen.
And Sue. Yeah. So, yes, what I see coming up for you is it's happening around you right now. And good for you, girl.
Yeah. Walk in your light.
Walk in your light and accept the grace of the Eight of Swords coming in and bringing in new energy, and you're moving forward quickly, and you're getting out of whatever's been causing you grief and anxiety. You're getting away from that stuff. Okay. This is Tanita. I would love a message from my boyfriend in spirit, please. Having a difficult day for something I remembered he did, which wasn't great. Would love a message from him. Okay.
You need it. If you're still here, can you give us his name too?
How many boyfriends in spirit did you have? If you have that many boyfriends in spirit, we need to talk. I'll look to the bottom of the list and see if she sent us anything.
Ricardo.
Okay. Message from Ricardo. I don't do mediumship much, guys, so you're... Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a good message. Yeah, he knows what he did, and he never really meant to cause you pain. That's the Three of Swords. He didn't. It's reversed. He didn't mean to. He was trying to connect with you. He was poorly trained, and he was so glad it didn't break you up, which it could have at that point in time. He was a very young soul. He's Page of Wands. He had a lot of power and he didn't know what to do with it. So sometimes he'd misdirect it. But what he wants you to know is he thinks of you as the Eight of Cups, and he thinks that he prepared you to move on and to be able to make better decisions about the people around you.
Wow. I love that. So did something happen with his neck? Because he's having a hard time breathing, or showing me that there was something that kept him from breathing. So I don't know if it was something with his heart, because it's really connected to his heart, but he is saying he's so sorry. He's also talking about a necklace, Tanita. He had a heart attack. Yeah.
That'll make you feel like you can't breathe, because you can't.
That totally will. Yeah. He's also showing me a big empty circle. So it feels like he didn't have the fortitude that you have, and he also didn't have the back, not the backbone, but the people behind him like you had, like Tanita, you had family behind you, and then get a lot of female energy behind you. He didn't have that growing up.
I told you he was poorly trained.
Yeah, poorly trained. So he's talking about that. He does say he's very sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you bought a necklace or if he bought you a necklace, but he keeps pointing to a necklace for you. So if he didn't, he wants you to buy yourself something special, or maybe you'll find something.
Or maybe you'll find a person who doesn't have a void behind them that will buy you one.
Yeah, there you go. Better yet. Yeah.
Okay, I said I wasn't going to take one more comment, but I'm going to take this one because this leads into our ending. Ladies, what's the best crystal to use in helping with these hard times that we're all feeling? Okay. I'm doing the Crystal Advent calendar and I'm actually pre-taping it. And so far I've had white highlight, the howlite, which is a really good grounding stone. It's clearing stone. I had an orthoceras, which is a fossil. It's a shell. It's a nautilus type shell that is over 200 to 500 million years old. And the reader who got it, Linda G, she was absolutely fascinated. We had to stop everything so she could go look it up. And that's to remind us that we've been here forever and things change and we may appear in a different form, but we can get stronger. Yesterday's was chevron amethyst, which is amethyst with white shot through it. And it's the spirit of amethyst, but the white gives you the energy to work with that spirit. And then Teri and I are going to tape this right after the show, so I just don't know what she's going to have, but it'll be fun. But if you want to watch, those are going to be on every day at 11:11 from December 1st to December 24th. They're going to be pre-tape shows. They will be on at 11:11. And we're looking at all different kinds of energy. A lot of it depends. For some of us, we need crystals that are going to slow us down. For some of us, we need crystals that are going to bolster our own sense of spirit. White dragon, it depends on what you feel you really need. Right now, on my desk, I'm keeping a citrine. You can't see, it's kind of it's orange quartz. And it draws energy to you because I had so much energy knocked out of me when I fell down that I've had to carry things that bolster my energy. So White Dragon, I think it really depends on, drop me a line and we'll see what we can figure out. But that's kind of what it is. And that's what I'm doing from the 1st of December to the 24th.
Yeah.
If you subscribe, you will get a notice every day that that's coming. And please, I need some more subscribers. I lost 80 at the end of the election. I do not believe that 80 of you left me. Flower Beauty, questions are closed because we really have to get on with our lives today. But I don't know where I was going, but I think I need to cut out because Teri and I need to get on with things and you need to get on with things and, go in a crystal store and you'll be drawn to one.
Yeah.
Those little suckers will get you every time.
Yeah. White Dragon, they keep pointing out turquoise for you. And white buffalo turquoise would be good too.
And the howlite that I talked about, that's also called white turquoise. And the reason they call it white turquoise is they can put 2 more zeros at the end of your bill.
Really?
Yeah. I
did not know that.
It is chemically, when I go through this, I look up, well, you'll find out when I do yours, but I have sort of the chemical compounds that are part of it. And it's a dolomite, which is like the cheapest stone in the world. There's a gazillion of them. It's sedimentary stone. It has little sort of turquoise looking flecks through it. But yeah.
Same thing. Score. I love it.
So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, if you do, you will get a notice every day saying this is happening. If you don't subscribe to my channel, you might forget. And that would be a pity.
Yeah. Please subscribe and like and hit the bell.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, if you say you like the show, they're more likely to spread us on. Anyway, say goodbye, Teri.
Goodbye, Teri.
Goodbye, Nancy.
See you later.
See you later.